Hey guys, Dragonfang Dan back here again. Another episode of cards I found in the bulk at my local card shop. We'll call them some bulk treasures, maybe. Um, Not a huge stack this time. Got a nice selection. Nothing super crazy, but still, I think some interesting cards that we can take a look at together. I've got some information I can throw at you, and we can kind of do a little learning together, a little artist appreciation, like Kev the Pokeghost likes to say. So, yeah, let's take a look here. This is going back to Sword and Shield base. Getting ahead of myself here. Sword and Shield base. Nothing too impressive. It's a trainer hop, but year on that is, oh boy, these came out a little while ago. 2020. Currently 2026. That's a 6-year-old card now, and it's just one I need for my set. So picked that one up. Trainers aren't always the easiest to find. Then we've got XY Breakthrough. This one, we're getting a little bit older, is back to 2015. And this is, I believe, a Komiya art on this Bronzong. Komiya's been making a pretty good name for himself lately. Breakthrough has been quite the set. If you go back and look at it, I've just got these couple cards. Nice Quilava. I always grab the starters when I can. Breakthrough actually, had obviously break cards in it, but it had a lot of great cards like Mega Mewtwo, as well as two gold secret Mewtwo cards that they used to be a lot cheaper, but I looked at the prices now and they're pretty spendy. Kind of neat cards. Mewtwo and a bunch of friends in it, apparently. Alright, now we're jumping back to Roaring Skies, also 2015. We've got Hawlucha here. And we've got Wingull. Roaring Skies, as the name suggests, was full of dragon types. Got Mega Rayquaza, Latios. It's a pretty great looking set, honestly. Found Victini in that set. That's a pretty great artwork right there. Koiki Saito. I'm sure I'm butchering some of these names wrong, so apologies for my American accent there. But I thought that was some great art. Not often you find Victini in the bulk either. Alright, and we got Primal Clash 2015. This one, also a starter. I don't believe this card was in the greatest condition. Some marks on it, but we're here to appreciate the art, not necessarily the card condition, as these will all be binder pieces anyways, since most are common, uncommon, a few non-holo rares mixed in. But yeah, we've got some great cards, and this is, oh boy, I think Phantom Forces, it looks like 2014. Fearow. Phantom Force is a great set. Gengar, Silver Dialga, the only silver card they ever made. It's not a cheap set if you were to try and pick it up as sealed packs right now. Good luck. This was an earlier 5-band graphics card. They don't make a whole lot for the regular commons and uncommons. 5-band sticks with a lot more of the, say, your Vs, your EXs, your 3/4 art, full art, that kind of stuff. There's a nice Gligar. And we've got Furious Fists, also 2014. I just like the look of this trainer supporter card. You don't see them that they look like this anymore. The trainers used to have a lot more character to them. If we look back at that hop we started with, well, it was Hop standing in a field. Well, let's go grab that a second. I have a guess. Yep. And I've said this before. Ken Sugimori. You can see right here. Legendary artist. Can't do trainers. Almost every trainer is clip art trainer on a background, usually blurred out. This time it's actually in the field outside of Hop's home, I believe, which does give it a little bit of a better feel. But right here, Naoki Saito, again, pretty great artist that's been around for quite a while. Then, we get to move back to XY Base. If I recall, I've found quite a stash of these. Like I said, I couldn't find any really old cards. I shouldn't say not any. I found some. I added a couple to my collection, as we'll get to them down here. But there were plenty that were duplicates, and I figure I better leave those for other budding enthusiasts to pick up. Got a nice Delcatty there, and the legendary Dunsparce, followed by this great perspective Doduo. It's Kazuki, the artist on that one. I like the angle the low angle they took. Doduo running across the field. We've got a Diglett. Looks very pencil drawn Pansear here. This is Komiya. Oh, that's interesting. Nice. We've got a Skiddo. Yep, 5-band graphics. I looked at that and went, that doesn't look drawn, or, it looks computer generated. They are what they are. It's all part of the Pokemon history. Found another starter, but again, 5-band graphics, so it's going to have a look to it. Definitely not as interesting as the hand-drawn ones that have a lot more character to them. Ledian. This one had a very dynamic feel to it, I thought. Ledian given a punch. Alright, now we finally get to something a little more interesting here. Back to the black and white era with the boundaries crossed. And quick guess on who this artist is. If you've looked at Pokemon cards at all, you'll notice clip art Pokemon, very standard, followed by a very generic blurred out background. That's right, Ken Sugimori. Clip art king himself. I don't want to bash on the guy too much, but I mean, he's in the hobby. He's legend in the hobby, but an amazing artist he is not, unfortunately. And this is a nice little frillish we got. Got the male and the female in this one. I thought it had a fun look. I don't know what kind of beach resort this is back there, but sets a nice little scene. I think that's it. Then we get to go back to Dragons Exalted. This is kind of an interesting find. Dragon Exalted is not a very big set, but it did have 4 secret rare shinies, including the Rayquaza. So the black Rayquaza in this set, very, very interesting. It's a big card, even if it's not a well-loved set, being from the black and white era. We got a sock, also from Dragons Exalted. Then Dark Explorers. We got this Timber. Pretty standard for Timber. This Basculin. I thought this was a pretty cool looking card. This is from Next Destinies. See this? He's the blue version, surrounded by all these red version. And if you've ever played the games or anything, you know that they don't mix. So just got to wonder what's going on in this scene. You know, is it a fight? Is it something more? They're kind of the piranha Pokemon, so I'm sure there's a lot of biting and bared fangs happening. Alright, then, I believe this is Emerging Powers. They really had some cool steel-type cards back then. Did make the text a little bit hard to read, but it did make it a lot more different from your normal types. Then what do we got here? We got black and white base. We're getting down to the last few. Got black and white base, which do seem to pop up often enough. Not a whole lot to say about black and white base. Like many base sets, quite unimpressive. Now, we're getting back into the older cards. We got this cool gradient going on the side here. That's, you know, not a misprint. It's not damage. You've got the lighter to the darker to the lighter to the dark. And yeah, this is a 2009 card from Rising Rivals. They did the light and dark versions better, I think, on Heart Gold Soul Silver era. This is a little bit more normal and sudden faded looking rather than being, I don't know, something more papyrus-like, which is what they did in Heart Gold Soul Silver. Those are always super cool. They changed the illustrator to down here. They move those around once in a while, so it's a little harder to keep track of. Alright, second to last card. We've got one from Mysterious Treasures. This is 2007. Supporter, anybody's guessing how to say that. Maybe Bebe's Search. Whole text of stuff going on there. But such an interesting placement concept. So much going on inside this artwork. You know, with the Glameow. Got a whole server up there. I don't honestly know anything about this character. But, you know, she's got a smiley face mug. She can't be too bad, right? Just, again, the older cards, they had this look to them. They had this feel to them. Even if it is a bit crunchy, a little bit well-loved, it's got some incredible artwork. And our last card was kind of fire. It's a good find for the day. Only had about an hour to dig through and managed to find everybody's favorite, Ken Sugimori, Magnemite here. This one is from Fire Red Leaf Green. Pretty generic looking background. Whenever I'm searching, this is one of the main things I look for, is this bubble pattern on the side here. It's you know, being an EX set, it sets itself apart, but this is later EX, so it doesn't have the e-reader stripes on it or the offset borders. But still, finding a card from 2004 in the bulk bin is always a good day. Alright, well that about does it. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys on the next one. Later.